Hello and welcome to today's Zoom meeting. I am meeting a fabulous woman today called Nuala McMenamin, and she's a Derry woman, but she's living in Belfast. And we are here today to talk about style, because I'm style mad. And I am very passionate about what our clothes and our style can do for us, particularly in lockdown, because I know we're all in pajamas a lot more, but I think there's a little bit more we could be doing there around using our clothes better to help ourselves get through lockdowns and stuff like that. And I'm all about that. So myself and Nuala met up on social media a few times. We were chatting on DMs and stuff, and we said, to hell with it. We're going to do an interview for everybody and share our thoughts and our views on both of our experiences as well, to see who does it help. So Nuala, you're very welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Breda. Yes, so I am Nuala McMenamin, as you said, from Adorn Bespoke Styling. And I started Adorn last year, towards the end of the year, started building up my client base. And then I registered my business in January when I realized it actually had legs. And then the pandemic struck. So actually, I have been styling people in this kind of new normal of lockdown. And when people think, you know, what has fashion got to do with anything right now? Doesn't matter what the hell I look like. But actually, as you say, Breda, clothes and fashion and style and what you're wearing plays such a huge role in how you feel about yourself. So it's actually hugely important, more so now than ever. So yeah, I am all about talking to my clients and telling them about the power that's in their clothes. And actually, it's interesting, I do a visualization exercise whenever I'm in my workshops. So I do a fair amount of corporate workshops just on the importance of dressing to feel good right now, and how to show up for every facet of who you need to be in your new blended life in this kind of working from home normality. And yeah, so I do a visualization, and I ask my clients to, you know, close their eyes and think back to a time when they felt amazing in their clothes, and really remember that context, you know, who they were with, where they were, you know, were they presenting at an event, were they part in the event, were they sitting around in a conference, were they at a wedding, you know, was it something personal that was going on, you know, and I get them to look down and take in what they're wearing, take in how they feel, and it's hugely powerful, Breda. And the response is usually, my God, I haven't felt that way in far too long. And my response to that is, you can access that at any time just through what you're wearing. So what would you think of that yourself?
I think the magic lies in the wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
I would say for me and for you, I know from some of the conversations we've had previously, there were times in both our lives where we weren't in such a good place, and we weren't probably, you know, doing as much as we could with style. We weren't using clothes as well as we are now. And I think it's interesting for us to share some of those stories. Certainly for me, I remember catching myself years ago. So before I had kids, I was mad into style. And I think back to some of the outfits that I used to wear, and they were absolutely lovely. And I felt brilliant in them, and I loved them. And I was always style mad, shoe mad, boot mad. But I remember catching myself a few years back in the mirror. I was going to pick up one of the kids from some of the after schools or something, and I was running late. And I remember just catching myself in the mirror and going, "Oh dear God!" And I was in clothes that I would describe as I was literally trying to blend in with the furniture. I was so bland. I hadn't a pick of makeup on me. My hair was disgusting. And I remember looking at myself going, where is that girl gone? The one who used to have all this style, who used to actually use her style to make herself feel good. And I started to have a chat with myself that day, Nuala, and decided I am going to turn this now. I cannot go on like this, because this is going to bring me down a path that I don't want to go. So I decided that I was going to get strict with my wardrobe. I took everything out of the wardrobe that looked bland, that looked like I didn't care, and that I knew would make me feel like that when I looked at the mirror. And I ditched all of it. And I made myself a new rule. And I'm interested to hear your rules as well when you're buying yourself clothes. Unless you absolutely love it, then it's not going to be wardrobe. Because if there's stuff in there that's middle of the road and you end up wearing it, you've missed a day where you could have felt fabulous. And my time is maximized. Like I ram so much into my time that no way am I going to waste a day feeling crap because I've put
Exactly.
clothes on me that, you know, were there and handy. So if all of my lovely clothes are there and handy, I'll put them on.
Yeah.
So that's what I do for me. And certainly I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, know that the way I am today, there's an element of all of my motivational stuff, my mind mastery, my clothes, and how I feel when I look at myself is very important, and it's essential to all of that well-being and feeling good. So
It's huge, Breda.
my sort of take on it. What's yours?
I love it. You are like my end product whenever I work with clients. My end goal with working with clients is you should feel as excited about opening your wardrobe every morning as you do about opening a box of chocolates. Everything in there should excite you and light you up and make you feel fantastic. It's not good enough that your wardrobe is, you know, dark, dreary and oversized and you're dressing to minimize yourself. And as we've said before, Breda, like my journey was quite similar to yours as well. I was in a role that I just really did not like, and my weight had really went up. But my weight had fluctuated all my life anyway. I always joke about my two big loves are fashion and food, and the two don't tend to go hand in hand. But yeah, like I had been from a size 8 to a size 22 and, you know, everything in between. And even whenever I was fuller figured before, I still was able to dress myself to make myself feel good. But I just got into a really bad place in my last role, and it was affecting everything. I wasn't showing up for myself. I wasn't showing up as the best version of me in my role either. I just was minimized and trying to hide myself away. And I was wearing dark, oversized clothes. I was literally shopping in like Tesco's or Sainsbury's and grabbing something that I knew was big enough to cover my bum. And that was the only requisite. And I was miserable. And it was just like, Nuala, this is not who you are. And honestly, you can work on yourself from the inside out. Like that is super important, but you can work on yourself from the outside in as well, Breda. And as soon as you change your clothes and wear better fitting clothes, add color as well to what you're wearing. Color is hugely important, and it's not even just, you know, it looks brighter. It actually does affect your brain. It releases, like whenever you wear bright colors like your reds and yellows and bright pinks, and you're wearing gorgeous pink today, and it releases dopamine in your brain, which is your feel-good hormone. Who doesn't want a hit of that? Yeah. And blue is an interesting color as well because it releases oxytocin in your brain, which is known as the cuddle hormone. And my God, we can all be doing with a bit of that right now. So yes, it's hugely important. And whenever I'm doing wardrobe cleanses with clients as well, you know, they kind of keep a safety net for their wardrobe. And it's kind of like, you know, I use the Marie Kondo approach. I'm sure you've heard of Marie Kondo, the sparks joy. So whenever you are cleansing anything, if it doesn't move you, get rid of it, because your clothes are just hugely emotive. And actually, funny enough, I don't tell people, I don't advise clients to get rid of items that they've had for over a year, or if they don't fit them. I literally think the best way is if it doesn't spark joy, because like they are hugely emotive, as I say, but they're snapshots of time as well. And you're transported back to, you know, the last time you wore that item, how it made you feel, and that can do all that for you again. It can bring you back to, you know, that moment and how you felt, and there's just great power in your clothes. So yes, I use the sparks joy approach, and that would be my tip whenever you're buying anything new. It has to make you do a song and a dance, or it doesn't belong in your wardrobe if it doesn't excite you. And we're terribly guilty. Now, I would like to think this will change after like the lockdown and the pandemic, but we're terribly guilty of just grabbing a bargain. And the amount of clients that I have that have really expensive suits, but they were maybe reduced down, but you're still looking at about £400 or £500, and they've never had them on their backs because it was the bargain that they fell in love with, not the actual item. And then they are just feeling guilty anytime they open their wardrobe, because they can see that suit that they've never had on them and they're never going to wear. And it really, really affects your mood. So I always advise clients to just pass it on to charity and let someone else wear it, because there's no point in having it just lifeless, languishing in your wardrobe. So yeah, has to make you do a song and a dance, Breda, and I'm just delighted that you just get it. It's fantastic.
I'm dancing flat out, Nuala.
Yeah.
Things there that you mentioned that I want to bring us back to, right? And it was one of them you said about happiness from the outside in is as important as happiness from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And that is a massive, massive piece, because I started a mind mastery, self-mastery journey myself about 7, 8 years ago, I would say. And I've spent the last number of years reading and studying mind mastery, how my mind works, and reconditioned myself from where I was years ago. I have probably totally replaced, I would say, all of my suite of self-beliefs. Mm-hmm. So massive, massive work on my mind and how I think, and I have it in mighty condition, but I've worked hard to get it there. And I would say the clothes piece is running parallel with that. I'll say something there now. Years ago, I remember thinking, so pennies and Duns and all of that. My wardrobe, if you went down to it, is a mix of everything. I have no real love for any particular brands. I buy what I think is lovely, and I don't care where I find it. So I couldn't say, you know, I love this particular brand, or I love all of them, and I mix it all up so I could have a mix of stuff on me. Yeah. Which works for me, because I don't care really about the brand. I care a lot about how it looks and how it makes me feel. Mm-hmm. But what I did do years ago when I needed to pick myself up a bit was I used to like see Calvin Klein stuff always online, and I used to think they're there and I'm down here. I'm Penny, they're there, right? And I decided, you know what, I'm going to break that mold for myself, and I bought myself socks and bits and pieces from Calvin Klein that don't cost the earth. Mm-hmm. Right? But knowing that I have a little piece of something that I considered at once to be kind of out of my league on me, mm-hmm. a massive shift in how I feel. So I would suggest that to people who haven't maybe started this journey yet, do something small like that, or buy something small that isn't going to break your bank, that you can start to build with. And let that help you to take the step up around the self-belief and feeling valued and feeling and all of that. So that's just a little tip.
Yeah. And I always advise clients to pay attention to their clothes and, you know, how they're presented. So it might not even be your clothes. It could be your accessories as well. It could be a lipstick. It could be earrings. Pay attention to what gives you confidence, where that, you know, feeling of, you know, I feel really good today, you know, I love what I'm wearing. What is it about what you're wearing? You know, where is that power coming from? Take note of that and, you know, use that again and again. And I often wear red lipstick, you know, if I am on a call or if I do have a meeting, and I get a lot of power from that. Just psychologically, it's just like, yes, I am ready. It's literally like my game face is on. And it's also, Breda, an opportunity to build a brand for yourself. And especially now when we are working from home, we have very, very little opportunity to stand out. So on the virtual environment, you can actually give yourself a point of interest. And actually by adding in a lipstick or adding in an accessory, I find earrings are really good, or actually your necklace is quite good too, because it's giving you a focal point straight away. So people aren't distracted by, I love your background as well. Actually, my background's crap today because I have the bookcase, which is not good, because people then are trying to see what books are on your bookcase, and they're not paying attention to you and what you're saying. But it's really, really good to give yourself an additional focal point, because it just helps you stand out. And if you're in a meeting with multiple people that are involved in the screen, you become memorable straight away. And as I said, if you're building a brand for yourself, wear red, you know, whenever you can. If it's not red, you know, wear green, wear blue, you know, have a piece of yellow, have it as an accessory, maybe wear it as a full top. Just break it up, but you just start to become really visually recognizable and you create impact on those calls. So yeah, just back to your point, you know, I love that about buying a little piece of the Calvin Klein. And actually, I'm the same as you. I don't really care about brands. I care about the look. And when I'm sourcing items for clients as well, I build looks for them, not necessarily from, you know, brands, because I don't think there's a huge difference in the quality of the clothes, if I'm honest. I have bought pieces from Ted Baker and they're probably, you know, no better than you know, items from Dunn's or whatever, especially actually Dunn's Savita range is just gorgeous. So like pay attention.
A plug too.
Pardon?
Lennon Designs for
oh yeah, she is fantastic actually.
Brilliant woman to follow around the confidence piece, and great woman for empowering other women too.
Yeah, I've actually recommended her range to a few clients recently and they have just fallen in love with them. They're so wearable, full of color and energy as well. She's fantastic. So yeah, so I don't tend to shop for brands, but do pay attention to what gives you joy and just, you know, surround yourself with that. And it's genuine joy. It's not I need to have, you know, or keeping up with the Joneses or anything like that. It's really what makes you feel good deep down in your bones and in your soul. So yeah, that's my advice on that.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch a wee bit on body image, right? Because you mentioned earlier about weight fluctuating. And you know what? I was thinking this morning, I have yet to meet a woman or a man whose weight doesn't fluctuate. So I think that's very normal. I think we get so obsessed with weight as a society sometimes that we get so focused on it that it becomes a massive monster of a thing then to everybody. And that then it's a difficult one to struggle with emotionally. But body image is so important, right? So my stories were years ago as a teenager, and I'm going to do a YouTube with a teenage girl very shortly over the coming weeks, but I'm so big into the stuff I used to think about myself, right? When I was a teenager and in my 20s, I detested so many parts of my body. And the reason I want to tell people this is because ever since that, right, once I went on my journey of self-love, self-mastery, and I reconditioned all of the old negative thinking and all of the limiting beliefs that I had, I now love my body and I actually really appreciate what it can do for me. So how did I get from that to this? It was all to do with the self-love, because I think the things that I hated about myself years ago, I was lambasting myself and I was criticizing myself. I hated the calf muscles on my legs, right? Horrendous, because I was an Irish dancer and I have muscly calf muscles, right? And the amount of people in the last 10 years who have told me I have fabulous legs.
Yes, maybe die for them.
Has made me go, oh my God, I in here hated them. I was finding reasons to hate them. I was comparing myself to others all of the time. And I want people watching this to ask themselves, is that what you could be doing to yourself? Because there's a good chance that's what's happening. And while you're busy hating pieces off you, others are very busy admiring them. I have so many compliments now on all of the body parts that I detested. And all I can think of was all of those years I spent hating myself were such a waste. So anybody out there that hates one part of themselves or lots of parts of themselves for whatever reason, I want you to think about my story, and I want you to actually start to question what you're telling yourself, because there's a good chance it's absolutely not true. It's just your negativity bias at you. It's also your negative beliefs that you've picked up in your conditioning, and it's all of the self-criticizing that you've been doing. That's all it is. And when you start to change those, then you start to feel different about what you see in the mirror. And I would ask everybody to start concentrating on taking compliments, because compliments help you, along with the Calvin Klein socks, the compliments that I got, the people that I talked to, all of that came together to get me into a place where I actually really like myself now from head to toe. And then I think when you get into a place where you start to like yourself and you appreciate your body and what it can do for you, then you start to get better and you build on it and you want to get better and better. There's more dopamine and it's like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I thought it was a really important point to share. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this with you is to go there, you know, because I don't want people sitting at home hating themselves, because you could be loving yourself. Just it's literally a change of mindset. You can decide today, after watching this, I'm going to stop hating on myself. I'm just going to admire myself. I'm going to coach myself. I'm going to become my own inner coach. I'm going to talk to myself like a coach would talk to me. And you can get the Calvin Klein socks.
Exactly. Socks are always going to fit no matter what size you are. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's why I was obsessed with shoes when I was younger as well, because there were so many items of clothing that just weren't an option for me, but I could always fit into the most beautiful shoes. So yeah, I loved them. And yeah, Breda, it's such a good point. Like, you know, you always have a choice in how you feel about your body and how you think about your body. And it's such a waste of energy whenever you get a bit of perspective, and you cannot love yourself from a place of hate. You know, you have to just accept your body as you are right now. And this is stuff that I have worked on for years and years as well, Breda. And yeah, like that really struck with me, is you're never going to get to love yourself through a place of hate. And also, you are only ever going to have one body, and my God, you should be so thankful for everything it does for you. And actually, I climbed Sleeve Donard for the first time this summer, which was huge for me, because I just never thought I would have had the fitness to be able to get up it. And I did get up it, and it was challenging, but I suppose I was kind of building up to it. I've done a few hikes in the lead up, and I honestly, it was my mental chatter that got me up. I was just like, you know, legs, you are doing a phenomenal job. It was like one step at a time, and it was like, look at you go, Nuala, like this is awesome. You know, and it's those things. It's like, you know, our bodies can make us climb up mountains, our bodies can give us babies. Like, we are absolutely phenomenal. And I think also, Breda, that the media has a huge role in how we feel about our bodies, because my God, when we were younger as well, and it is starting to change, but when we were younger, I mean, heroin chic was a thing. Like, you know, Kate Moss was emaciated. You know, the people that the fashion brands were using to advertise their clothes were fragile and like so ill looking. And, you know, we were supposed to aspire to look like that. And it was just like, you know, me and like my size 12 kind of average body. And it was just like, how the hell can I ever make that work? And the media still do it. You know, like the Daily Mail is just absolutely toxic and abhorrent. And, you know, if a star loses weight, then there's something wrong with them. If they put on weight, then, you know, they've let themselves go. And like, we are just like bombarded with this information, and it absorbs. The best thing you can do is just switch all media off. It really is. And it is harder for some people now because of social media as well. We are so much more image conscious, and it's not real. Like, it's all posed and filtered and fake, and I don't ever use a single filter because I think they're so toxic. I seen a good post actually. It was like, facials because filters don't exist in real life. So they don't, and it's so true. And, you know, it's just, you just need to take time to just sit with yourself and realize just how beautiful you are. And beauty is not actually physicality. I don't know if you'll agree, Breda, but I think beauty is whenever someone is just amazing and it literally radiates from every pore in their face. Roald Dahl has a quote on it. I think it's about like sunbeams shine out their face. I can't remember it. It's beautiful, but it's so true, because I've very often met people who maybe initially I thought were really striking looking, but once I got to know them and maybe they didn't have a great personality, I started to see flaws in their appearance. And the reverse is true as well. I met people that maybe I just would have kind of not give them a second glance, but as soon as I got chatting to them and got to know them, they literally just glowed and they were absolutely beautiful. So you are so much more than your weight and your dress size. I actually do a talk on you're more than your dress size, because you really are. And I've actually worked with clients who went to the bother of cutting out the size of their clothes in fear of somebody seeing it. And it's just like, how the hell, like, do we live in a society where that happens? And, you know, it's such a privilege to work with those women because they really understand the power of their people and how to dress them to feel good no matter what size they are. It's so important. And I've worked with clients, you know, up to a size 32 as well. And there's nothing that can stop you from dressing to feel good. There's so many available options right now. And you know, that honestly, the power in your clothes is just phenomenal.
Yeah. And I've loads of friends that would struggle with different weight problems and things. And I'm just thinking to myself, I actually wouldn't notice their weight. What I'm noticing is they're nearly apologetic about walking into a room. And that
Yeah.
is so wrong. So I would say, ladies, just throw that negative stuff out into the bin and absolutely own it, because whatever you are, you are. And whatever you have, you can make the best of. So throw out the negative stuff. Stop worrying with what people think. Actually, there's a quote that I should share here that I learned years ago, and it absolutely changed how I think. What other people think of you is none of your business. And that is a whopper. That will actually, if you practice that daily, it starts to get rid of all of the thinking and the wasted energy that we do worrying about what everybody else thinks about us. And when you do that, the world is your oyster. But you mentioned something new there about social media. I'm glad we're going there because I was hoping to sort of get there before we wrap up. Because social media for me has been totally different to, I think, what most people have been using it for. So I learned most of my self-mastery and my mind mastery from Instagram, from Pinterest, from LinkedIn, and Twitter. So I've learned all about female empowerment from all of those apps, but I have not been following the models and I haven't been following the influencers. And so I don't think my feed is doing what most people's feed is doing to them. Mine empowers me. Mine gives me new things to think about. I read a lot of quotes. I'm always trying to figure out, what does that actually mean to me? Have I work to do there in my mastery journey on that quote or whatever? And I think probably I'm using it in a different way as well, in that we're in lockdown now. And so a lot of people are a bit like, I've nowhere to go. Why would I get dressed up? And they're on a Zoom, right? And I can see that they're totally bored and it's so monotonous and they're stuck in the same four walls and they are fed up because they're just like on a hamster wheel every day, working on Zooms and working and Zooms and nowhere to socialize, right? So I decided a few months back in lockdown that I was missing talking to women in changing rooms, right?
Yeah.
Because I used to go into changing rooms and chat to whoever was there about what pieces I was trying on, and they'd tell me about there and all that. And I'd go to work and I'd say to the girls in there or the guys, I like that jacket or I like your shoes or whatever. And we'd have that wee bit of banter. So, and I was losing all of that. And I noticed that in myself, because self-awareness is very important, right? Because if you're not able to spot things that are triggering you and try to sort of attack them and fix them a little bit in alternative ways to what we used to do, then you're going to be in trouble. So I always watch to see what it is that's making me sad. And I knew that that sort of interaction and banter was making me sad. So I decided, well, to hell with this then. I'm going to go and start doing selfies and put them up on social media. And most people, like, I get a lot of grief from doing that. A lot of people slag me. I slag them back. A lot of people love it. But one of the things that's very important for us all to know is, whilst you might be doubting yourself or thinking, I can't just do a selfie, then you have not inspired all of the people that would have been inspired had you have taken the selfie, had you have shared your love of clothes. I'm at it all the time now, and I love the crack and the banter that it's picking up for people. Plus, we all need a distraction in lockdown. You know, and if all you're seeing is the Kardashians and all of the perfect one, I don't think that's going to help you in lockdown. I think we should all have women with hashtag style selfies. And I would love to get women doing that so that we get back into those wardrobes and we start to enjoy. It's another thing I'm always telling people in lockdown, you've got to find ways of changing it up. You have to find new ways of having fun. And if you're into clothes, then why would you not do that? All it is getting over the fear of doing selfies and what will people think? Who cares what people think? So
Yeah.
I invite all of the women to do a selfie for us whenever they see this video, and to make sure that they tag you and I on them, whether that's Instagram or Facebook or wherever they go, and use the hashtag style selfies. And let's have a bit of crack that we used to have around clothes and what we're wearing, you know, because I just think we are in bad need of some new things to talk about, new things to change people's day for them. So I can't wait to see what happens now in that hashtag.
Yeah, I actually started a group this week on Facebook. It's the Home Ready Club, and it's for that reason, Breda, because people need a reason, or you know, just a bit of focus as to why they get dressed and get ready each day. It's I put on like a motivational tune every morning to wake us all up, and then like I post what I'm wearing that day, and it's not even a fashion show. I mean, yesterday I was wearing like a big oversized jumper dress and a scarf and a pair of tights and a pair of boots, and I just chatted about how I am still super, super cozy, but I'm happy to open my front door. I'm showing up for myself. And that's the thing, as you say, it's so important right now. And it's because we get so much power from our clothes. And also, as you say, you don't dress to impress anybody else. You dress for you. And the proof is sure in the pudding right now, because I think a lot of people are struggling to get dressed and show up because they're not going to see anybody else. But actually it's for your own benefit. And it's funny, actually, the styling parties that I do, Breda, I always encourage people to come as glam as they can. And I've had a couple of people show up in evening gowns, which is so much crack. And even, you know, whenever, if you have your weekend free, if you're having, you know, your meal on a Saturday night, get dressed for your Saturday night dinner. You know, show up for yourself. Like, if you feel good getting dressed up, putting on a bit of makeup, throwing on some accessories, then do that. You don't need the world to see you to do that. And also, actually, I think the issue with women kind of waning in confidence does come from they worry about what other people think about them. And to be honest, nobody cares, because everybody's so consumed with themselves. But also, you know, if you are of that mindset, isn't now the perfect time to just play about with your style and have fun with your clothes and start wearing, you know, those outrageous items that you think are beyond your reach? Go for it. You know, get comfortable wearing it in your own home, and then you're just going to thrive and shine when you're out and about beyond lockdown, you know, on the other side of this, because there is going to be another side of this. And that's the thing as well, Breda. It's like, you know, I think we can be really guilty of keeping clothes for good. And I do think this pandemic has just really shown us there's no such thing as keeping for good. The only time we're guaranteed is now, and make the absolute most of it, you know?
Will you move slightly out of the sun for me, Nuala?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You were talking about a sunbeam earlier, and the sunbeam, there, we could nearly see you. Just go slightly over a bit. That we have to see your pretty face, your lipstick.
Sorry.
So what we'll do, we'll start the challenge. You and me will start the challenge, right? And we'll put up a selfie each as to what we are wearing today to get people started on this. Because I just think if they get dressed up, then it, you know, it helps that you have to probably take another step by taking a picture of yourself. And I think that's what does me good. So that's what I want us to do for our social media follow up on this. That's kind of all I'd say we have time for today. It's been lovely talking to you, and it's a topic that I am so passionate about, and I know the difference that it makes to women and men. It's very important. So anything that we can do as humans to help love ourselves, appreciate our worth, and know our value is absolutely vital. And our style, our clothes, all of that is up there. Okay, so try your best. Whoever's been watching this, we hope you've enjoyed it. And try your best to step it up a bit for yourself, for you. And we're there to share the selfies with. We want to see what you're at with your clothes, and we want to have fun. We want to have those virtual sort of changing room conversations that we used to have, or if we were going out with the girls for a night, we'd be chatting about clothes. So let's try to do that a bit virtually, because it'll maybe break up someone's day for them. So I would ask everybody to reach out. Nuala, over to you. Closing word from you.
Oh, just thank you so much, Breda. I mean, it's just been really, really refreshing to just chat to you, and you just get it, and you're just so engaged in what you wear and your style, and you understand the power that's in it. And I suppose my message to anybody watching is just dress for you. And like, this is the biggest favor you can do yourself right now. You're actually, is showing up for yourself. And actually, I compare wearing the pajamas and the cozy clothes to eating cake. It's like, cake is amazing, and wouldn't it be great if we had it all day long? But if you do eat cake all day long, you feel like crap. And it's the same in your pajamas. If you stay in your pajamas or your cozy clothes all day long, you feel like crap. So do yourself a favor, get some amazing clothes that help you feel good. Even if you start with an accessory, you know, a nice scarf that just brightens it up, or a pop of color, just go for it. Do it for you.
Yay. Girl power. But this was for the boys as well, so it's for everybody. That's it for
People power.
Human power, people power.
Yeah.
So we will chat to you all online. Nuala, where would they find you on your social media?
I'm everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm on Facebook. And my handle is Adorn Bespoke Styling. If you search Adorn Bespoke Styling, you'll get me.
Adorn Bespoke Styling is where they need
Bespoke Styling, yes. And
I'm on LinkedIn. I do Twitter, where I have the crack with most people. Instagram is where I try to do a lot of my motivational pieces. My YouTube has got a lot busier. I'm doing a lot of videos around mastery and self-mastery and all of the sort of elements that I've been through over the last few years, because I'm trying to teach others what I have had to teach myself, so that I'm trying to shortcut the journey for everybody else. So
brilliant.
Find us there. I've also got a website. It's bredamccaig.com. And I haven't even launched it yet, so people are starting to use it already. So I need to catch up. So yeah, we are mad to get chatting to you all online. Please do connect with us. Please connect with each other. We are in this virtual world for a while, so we need to get good at this, and we need to find ways of making it work for us as people. Yes. So thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thank you so much, Breda.
Not at all.